Next one is the hot tub started leaking because there's a hot tub out back. $8,000 there. So this great opportunity turned into just like a money pit that we weren't expecting.
Yes.
Then we rented it out. The biggest one happened on the property. It went dry.
Oh my.
Yeah. I've never owned a well before. We're at the top of a mountain in East Tennessee.
Oh no.
Calling a well company to come out and diagnose it or do whatever is like the worst thing in the world.
Oh my goodness.
Come to find out after digging, the previous owner, something that happened with their old pump in it, and it was stuck halfway down in the well. So the well is supposed to be about 1,100 feet deep. There was a pump stuck in there feet down.
Okay.
So we were only pulling half of what we should have been pulling.
Okay.
So it wasn't a dry well. It was an old pump that was stuck.
Good news. Easy fix.
You'd think. So this was about a year and a half into our journey. And so we struggled with keeping guests happy. So that was a huge thing, was guests would be there, they would run out of water because it just couldn't keep up with them taking showers for 45 minutes and all that stuff. We got a quote for a new well and it was $70,000.
Oh my.
Yeah. So this beautiful investment property, it over the last 3 years has really caused like a lot of heartache.
TJ Breil, thank you for being here on Invested Fathers today, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
We're back in the Johnson basement.
I love it.
And we're just catching up about college days, career journey. You've had quite a story with the Lawn Dad that we'll get into.
Yeah.
How you feel today?
Good. It's like nostalgic. It's like my old best friend's like mom's basement. This is like perfect and everything. It's awesome.
Appreciate you making time today.
Yeah.
Let's actually just dive right into that. We were just talking about an investment that you did in Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Okay. We talk a lot about real estate, dadhood, businesses. We got a case study here of something you're not even through it yet. So give us a little bit of a high level. What's your latest update on this specific investment?
Boy, I hate being the case study. Let me just tell you that. So back in 2021, so my wife and I, we started making money. And okay, next step is we need to invest in a property, right?
Okay.
So back in 2021, we wanted our first investment property to be an Airbnb.
Yeah.
So we also wanted Airbnb that we could take our kids to visit, to be as like a second home type thing. So we did do a second home loan on it.
Yeah.
So we chose Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Yeah. It's a good place.
What better place to go, right?
Everyone wants to go there, right?
Dude, I did.
I did.
So back in 2021, this hadn't been released yet, but when we purchased the cabin, so it's a cabin on top of a mountain, like the views you can see 200 miles away. It is it. When we went there, this was it. A little bit more than what we wanted to spend. We spent $590,000 on it.
Yeah.
So pretty stout investment.
Yeah, that's first investment, yes.
But yes, for the first one. So Air DNA numbers were coming back super hot. Like, man, we're about $90,000 on the cabin per year. Great investment, right?
Yeah.
Rates were super low, 1.25 interest rate on it. Our mortgage payment with tax and insurance is just right around $2,500.
Oh,
numbers are like insane.
yeah.
The one thing that I wish I would have dug further, but the one thing that I didn't really look into is the previous owners. They were much older. They never rented it out. So it had never been a rental property before. Mm-hmm. So it was the second home of theirs. It was shut down 6 months out of the year. They were living it 6 months out of the year. Mm-hmm. Should have been a red flag possibly, but like I didn't have numbers to go off of. So I bought the house, did a full renovation on it, probably put about $60,000 in brand new floors, furniture, like fully furnished, turnkey, ready to go. And the problem started happening.
So everything sounds good. So
everything sounds great. Yeah. We visited as a family. It was awesome. The views were great. The views, right? AC went out. So I don't know if you know anything about the recent air conditioning laws with Freon and all that stuff. Basically, we hit the mark of you can't just put Freon into it. You have to get a whole new system because the rules of Freon had changed. Okay. $14,000. Yeah. We're going to expect that. Next started leaking because there's a hot tub out back. $8,000 there. So this great opportunity turned into just like a money pit that we weren't expecting.
Yes.
Then we rented it out. The biggest one happened on the property. It went dry.
Oh my.
Yeah. I've never owned a well before. We're at the top of a mountain in East Tennessee.
Oh no.
Calling a well company to come out and diagnose it or do whatever is like the worst thing in the world.
Oh my goodness.
Come to find out after digging, The previous owner, something had happened with their old pump in it, and it was stuck halfway down in the well. So the well is supposed to be about 1,100 feet deep. There was a pump stuck in there feet down.
Okay.
So we were only pulling half of what we should have been pulling.
Okay.
So it wasn't a dry well. It was an old pump that was stuck.
Good news. Easy fix.
You'd think. So this was about a year and a half into our journey. And so we struggled with keeping guests happy. So that was a huge thing, was guests would be there. They would run out of water because it just couldn't keep up with them taking showers for 45 minutes and all that stuff. We got a quote for a new well, and it was $70,000.
Oh, my.
Yeah. So this beautiful investment property, over the last 3 years, has really caused like a lot of heartache.
Yes.
So people always joke, oh, when's your next investment property? I'm still dealing with my first story. So to wrap that story up, company they work regionally. So they don't just work in Tennessee. They work in North Carolina, South Carolina. They work regionally, like in this area. Okay. So they're like number one in the region. They've got the rigs to be able to like go down thousands and thousands of feet. Like they are the top one. We waited 3 months for them to even come out and look at the property, but they were it. So actually yesterday I just got news that they took the pump and they were able to get it out of the way. So it went from $70,000 to potentially now we're just paying them like $3,000 for a diagnose and fix. But it's because they had that huge rig that was able to do what the other company's rigs couldn't do.
So, what a story. I see that big sign. Okay. We're almost there.
We're almost out of it.
Okay.
So now we can potentially get to this property.
We're going to sell it.
And now we're just offloading. Yeah. Right there. And yeah, the numbers are there and we just need to make money on it. So yeah, that's my first and only rental that I've got. And
man.
it's just kind of like the worst possible scenario ever.
Wow.
So
there
is a bad side to investing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
You had posed the question. I don't even know what syndication is. Off camera.
Yeah.
And so there's a world where you can invest into real estate and do zero of not ownership, the management of the site, but yet still be an owner. So that means you would still get tax benefits. You would still get a percentage of the profit that was made, but no heavy lifting. So that's been my new thing.
Sure. That's the horror story of investing.
Yeah.
The wells and the AC units and the hot tubs. Syndication sounds pretty nice.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
I want to go back, dude. I know we skipped ahead in your career, but I want to know the TJ Breil story.
Yeah.
Not from babyhood, but more just on the career journey.
Yeah.
We were joking a little bit. We did a Panera or something up when you were doing mortgage.
Yep.
So maybe let's just start there. How long did you do that? And then tell us about the Lawn Dad.
Yeah.
We're at now.
Well, to start off, I was born at a very young age.
Okay.
That's so right there. That was a bad joke. That was bad.
No, you're in safe company. You were on totally safe company.
I had to use a deck cast, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we met up at Panera. Man, I don't even know what.
It was probably 10 years ago.
Something like that. So yeah, I was in mortgages for a while. So my dad was in mortgages my whole life. So I sort of came from the mortgage background. Hit a point in my young career, like, what do I do with my life? And my dad was good career path in sales. You're good at talking with people. Did mortgages. So I was working in the mortgage industry for, I don't know, say 7 or 8 years. So met a lot of great people. I started in the Lexington, Columbia market while my wife was in med school. And then we moved to the Greenville market. So great career, hustle career. So always, where's the next deal coming from? A lot of coffee, a lot of investor talks, a lot of Panera meetings. It was a great career. It was a big grind. Financially, it was a great career as well. So that's where my, I guess, big boy career started, was mortgages.
Yeah.
Did top 30 out of 300 mortgage loan officers, top 30 for a couple of years straight. Just did over 30 million in closed business. Wow. It's a stout number, but especially for somebody my age.
Yeah.
So it was just a grind. It was awesome. And we had our first kid, and that grind turned to, man, this is a lot of work.
Yes.
2021, 2022 hit, and you remember what happened with rates and stuff. They dropped. Yeah. We were busy. We were doing 25, 30 loans a month, and that was just me and my assistant. We didn't have a huge team. That was 25 to 30 loans per month for personally doing.
Wow.
So it was a grind. It definitely was lopsided on the career versus home life situation. So definitely didn't get the amount of time that I wanted with my wife, but also our first child.
Let's just pause there.
Yeah.
So that was 2020. So this was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I had a similar story in regards to, I had maybe the first 3 years, I was just out working because I felt that was what I needed to do.
You need to grind.
Yeah, and that was
provide for your family.
But our marriage started going amiss. We had a food allergy, and I wasn't connecting and supporting. So similar situation.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you see start going amiss?
The thing is too is my wife also has a super full-time job, and so just connecting with your spouse is just impossible. She's off working. She does 24-hour shifts at the hospital. So sometimes I wouldn't see her for a day or two, and even then it was in passing, and that's not healthy, man. And then first kid, I've got 3 now, but having 1 kid is really crazy.
Huge shift.
It's a huge shift, growing from no kids to 1 kid. So even just thankfully she didn't have any allergies or anything wrong with her, but it was just a lot to maintain, figuring it out, and also having a marriage to figure out. So it was more so just unhealthy.
Yeah. We'll continue on. So you guys had the first kid. So you have 2 more eventually.
Yeah.
So tell us about mortgage.
So mortgages. So yeah, 2021, 2022 was a crazy year. So during the pandemic, and this is going to lead to the end, but during the pandemic, I got really into taking care of my grass.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't go out anywhere.
You were stuck at home, so
you're kind of stuck at home, and it's crazy to think about the pandemic days, right? Like, how did that even exist? But I was at home, sitting at my home office that I'd created out of our house, and I'm just looking out the window. It's like, man, the grass doesn't look that great. Then you get on YouTube and start watching how-to videos and how to take care of your grass and stuff. So I was already like fascinated with my grass and maintaining it. And I was the guy cutting every single Saturday morning. You know, I was a dad before a dad, but I got super heavily involved with my grass and just making it look really good and figuring out how to make it look nice. What's the hack to make it look like a golf course?
Yeah.
And then I discovered reel mowing. So reel mowing is a way of mowing to where you're not using a conventional like rotary mower like you'd buy at Home Depot. You're using like a golf course mower that has like a reel that spins out front rather than like underneath. That's how you get it cut down like really low. Once I discovered that, and that Bermuda loves being cut low, I got like, we can call it fixated on it. Yeah, just like, how do I make it better? How do I just make it? The compliments from the UPS driver when he drives up is just like, man, your grass looks really good. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I started taking care of my grass a little bit more, working in mortgages. That was still a grind. But ultimately, the driving factor of why I even posted on the Lawn Dad channel or created the Lawn Dad persona or brand or whatever it is, was the real estate mortgage industry with real estate agents was a very toxic relationship. Real estate agents are also salespeople too. They're trying to take care of their clients, but anything that goes wrong is the lender's fault. A lot of, not hatred, but a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Hostility, toxicness,
animosity. So if the appraisal comes in low, it's my fault.
Right.
If the closing date gets pushed, I'm the scapegoat, and if the closing date gets pushed by 3 days, God forbid we close 3 days later, the world is, and it is my fault. I'm the worst person in the world. Imagine doing at that time when rates were a little bit higher. Imagine doing 10 to 15 loans, and half of those you got realtors on the other end calling you names that you don't want to be called.
Right.
You're already away from your family. You're stressed. You're working with 10 to 15 families on closing on their home or investment property or whatever. It should become very toxic.
Yeah.
And I haven't shared this really outside of my wife, but truthfully, real estate agents are the reason why I got out of the mortgage lending business.
Yeah.
And that's not every single real estate. I had great real estate partners, but they were partners. Other real estate agents were just real estate agents. And they really drove me away from the passion of helping family get into homes. Now it was, how do I just make this realtor just stop calling? It just wasn't great. So, taking care of my lawns while I'm hating life in the mortgage industry.
You're it sounds
it was my
I got this toxicness, but like I can control and see the fruits of my labor here.
Yep.
Fully
It looked good. My grass didn't talk back to me.
Yes.
It didn't call me at 7 p.m. on a Saturday night. Things It was something that, like, if I did this, it looked great. And so it was an escape. And I don't know what caused me to take a video of it or just do it, but maybe it was just my creative side. I graduated with a graphic design degree. I didn't necessarily create something to be a creator. I was just like, hey, I'm just going to video me doing this because I like it. And the second video that I posted ended up going viral.
Wow.
Yep. So most people post for 4 years straight before their first video goes viral. I don't know what it was, but the algorithm picked it up, and within 48 hours, I had almost 5 million views on my second video that I posted.
What? 5 million?
5 million.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay.
So that was my second video that I posted. I posted another video that did very well. It was at 6-figure views, a couple 100,000 views. The fourth video that I posted did well. What is going on? Contacted by companies. So like a fertilizer company reached out and they said, hey, we love your videos. We want to send you, like, that's kind of cool.
Hey, Brad,
I'm paying $60 a bag for fertilizers and send to me for free. Oh, I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
elite.
Yeah, I'm like, elite. Have I made it? But all the while, that second video that I posted was still gaining me followers and stuff. And at that time, it was Masters Week. So it was like beginning of the season. I think timing had a lot to play in it. Everybody's like getting into their lawn. It was about April, May. So everybody's getting into their lawn. I think timing was perfect. But you see my logo.
Yeah,
perfect. It's like the Masters logo.
It's perfect, dude.
So I was sitting there watching the Masters, and the videos are going viral and stuff. And I'm just like, I need a logo because I'm a graphic designer. I need a logo.
Yeah.
So I created a logo for Lawn Dad, which, by the way, back to Lawn Dad name, I couldn't believe it was available.
Yeah.
I just chose Lawn Dad. Oh, everybody calls himself the Lawn. It had the green check mark next to it when I typed it in. And I'm like, how is this not taken? So that's where the Lawn Dad, I didn't know thought into it, no nothing. It was just, it was available.
Sweet.
So I took it. And then I created the Masters logo on it. And I would say the next year, I was posting videos. They were doing well. I was getting companies contacting me. And then it started to get into paid. They will send you this and we'll also pay you $500 to post. $500 to post something. I'm already doing it. So that kind of led into focusing on it a little bit more full time because I was making a good amount of money. And team that up with the toxic relationships I was having with the realtors, and it just was not fun anymore. My passion was starting to feel like it was leaning toward stay at home dad, taking care of my grass. Sounds pretty great. Sounds pretty stress free.
Yes.
So that's where it led into my split time.
Yeah.
Then a big thing happened is we had a beautiful custom built home. We were on 12 acres. Something happened with our neighbors, just a personal scenario happened with our neighbors, and they ended up listing their house and selling it. The house that they sold was the same builder, same architect. They were also on 12 acres, similar floor plan, modern farmhouse type build. They ended up selling it, and the price they sold it for, our eyes wide open. We were like, wow, that sold for that much. Yep. So we were looking at our house, no plans on moving, no plans on anything, but me being a mortgage person, I knew the numbers. And I saw that, and I knew our numbers for what we built it for back in 2019 before lumber prices went crazy. So I told my wife, I said, we really need no joking, we need to look at these numbers. So we looked at them, ran them, and it was close to 7 figures that we would make. So enough to uproot our dream and change our lives completely.
Yeah.
Her agreement was, I will sell this house and we'll do this if you give me a third baby.
Wow. Okay.
So I felt strongly enough for it because I was set on 2 kids. And at that time we had our son. He was really young. I think he was a couple months old. Okay. So we had 2 kids, and I was set on 2 kids. And she said, all right, I see the numbers. If you feel passionately about it, I also want, my passion is to have a 3rd kid. Okay. So if we do this, we're having a 3rd kid. I said, let's do it. Wow. So we have 3 kids now. Walked away, paid off all of our debt except for our real estate. So that ultimately was the catalyst that allowed me to say, you know what, I'm giving up mortgages. I'm focusing full time on Lawn Dad, and we're moving. And that's how I transitioned into the career of being a content creator and taking care of my lawn full time.
Yeah, if you guys are not checking out the Lawn Dad already, check it out. It's amazing videos.
Yeah.
And there's something so fulfilling about watching somebody mow a lawn or go to do the stripes and your grass looks just perfect.
Man.
It's so good.
Yeah, that's what I strive for, is the satisfaction. I think that's what people get out of my channel, satisfaction. Also, they learn too, but that's what I've been focusing on, the satisfaction stuff.
Yeah, people love it. Awesome.
It's like pressure washing a driveway.
Right. Yes. No, it's so good. It's so like visually appealing.
Yeah.
Let's go just even a tiny bit further on Lawn Dad's future.
Yeah.
Because we were just talking briefly on what is the next step for Lawn Dad. So mortgage is behind you, toxicity is behind you, dadhood is in the thick of it. Grass is looking great. So what's the next step for Lawn Dad?
So next up is a couple things, actually. So a few irons in the fire.
Yeah.
So content creation, especially in the lawn space, nobody's been there. So in other industries, people like call it makeup industries or real estate industries. People are at the very top. Who are some of the biggest real estate investors that you would follow?
Yeah.
Grant Cardone.
Right, Pineda.
Like those people are like crazy high unattainable. There's nobody in the lawn space that like the person that's there.
Yeah.
There's one or two accounts that definitely have a huge amount of following and it's amazing. But my goal is to be, since I have the name the Lawn Dad and everybody refers themselves the Lawn Dad, let's make it the top account.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things in the works. One is just to continue what I'm doing, solidifying partnerships. So I just signed a really great contract with Ryobi. So Ryobi is going to be one of my main sponsors for the 2025 season. And another lawnmower company, Rolux, which they're a real mower company. So signed a partnership agreement with them. So focusing on solidifying my core partnerships to where everybody knows the mowers, the hoses, the fertilizers. So it just solidifies those brands, but also grows mine. But then also I'm going to be collaborating with 3 other creators in the lawn space. And we're going to create a content mecca for education. So the first question that everybody asks me is, how do I make my grass better? That question is the most loaded question, Allie. What kind of grass do you have that lead up to how to make your grass better? This doesn't exist currently, but we're creating a hub for all those questions. So if you have no idea what to do, go to this website, type in your question, and it will give you a YouTube style layout of recommended videos. It'll say, how to make my grass better. Where do you live? Michigan. Boom. For anybody who lives in Michigan, they'll get fed to them 10 videos on how to make your grass better just to start. So it's like a catalyst for someone just to go and just learn how to take care of their grass better.
Cool.
Also DIY projects and all that stuff, but
Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
it's a big engine.
I love that you're not thinking small. You're thinking big with, I want to be number one Lawn Dad. And it's exciting to see, just knowing your journey of, this is what I hated in this certain type of walk, found some success. Some of it's somewhat happenstance with the neighboring house that sold. But that freedom to be like, hey, you know what? I really want to pursue this.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I want to give my audience is that there seems like there's shackles to like pursuing your dreams. But forget the dreams. It's the priorities. I think that's what I also heard in your story is some of these things working for the man. I realized at 7 o'clock at night when I was getting these phone calls, why am I doing this? So facade or drift that we can get into as dads, but just I guess I just have to do this. This is just part of what it is. And I would say, no, what is it that you want to do? What is your goals? And let's pursue it. So kudos for all that. We're that.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. We're going to shift. That was the business, home life. One of the things I want to give my audience is, and I'm just curious, like, you have 3 kids.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I am 34.
Some years to live.
A couple of years, hopefully.
There's some energy. It's still in the tank. What are some things that maybe have become clear in the values, or these are the like really important things that matter through the short time that you've been a dad, but also just, hey, this was maybe, again, something that you that stood out as something that's really important to you.
Maybe this is true for a lot of dads and a lot of new dads and a lot of young dads is I feel like I'm not the best dad out there. And that's hopefully I'm not the only one who thinks that.
Dude, you're the only one that feels right.
Yeah,
it's a daily thought for me.
So one is striving to be the best dad that I can, but knowing that I did study to be a dad in college. Like I didn't study to do this. So learning, just like I learned how to cut my grass and learned how to do mortgages. It's something that I have to keep on learning. But one thing that I didn't expect, people told me, but I didn't expect, is how fast your kids grow up. My daughter, just the other night, she was having growing pains. In my head, I'm like, man, I remember having growing pains. It's like she's at a point now to where she's going to be remembering what we did, what we did during the day, what I said to her, how I reacted to something. It's true. Kids grow up really fast now. Just consciously making time with her, spending time with her, realizing that she's going to remember the times that we hung out, what we did. So we got a little river in the backyard, and we got a little playhouse in the backyard. So taking her out there and like just letting her play in the river, dude, she's gonna remember that. Like when that she's 30 years old, like she's like, yeah, I remember playing the river back. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's also it's dangerous but exciting.
Yeah.
So create better memories and like just be conscious about like when I'm on my phone or when I am working, or she wants me to come back into the room and kiss her at night. Like, there's like multiple things, just like conscious of, nope, let's do it because she's going to remember that. So I think that's something that I've realized within the past year is, yeah, kids really do grow up fast.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I was already 4 and having growing pains. Like, yeah, that's crazy.
I know. We have an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old. This morning was a little rough to my 2-year-old in regards to just yelling and tears and slamming doors and whatnot. So that was one of our mornings. But I, as a dad, she's like, how do I train for this? There are times I react very poorly to that. And then there are times I'm like, you know what? She needs love. She needs to see that she's safe. And there was a victory, more or less, in how I responded to it. But I yelled with her. It was not. Sure, I just messed around. I get that. But I really appreciate your answer in regards to time. Time is, that's a theme on the show.
Yep.
In regards to, you can't get it back. It's a valuable resource we have. And what are we doing with our time? And how are we showing our priorities with our time? Because I feel like that's one of the biggest indicators. Like, what are you caring about? What are you spending your time with? Even to the degree of like, how am I being a better dad? Like, there's things that we can work on that we be intentional about that will still fail, but there's a level of like value that you have. Just like, I want to be a better dad. How can I continue to just keep leveling up?
Yeah.
So you have 3 under 4. So that's your
Yes. Yep.
So let's talk a little bit. Let's see. I mean, anything jump out at you as, this sounds like a pretty deep question, like the biggest struggle you faced being a dad? I think you just said like time being a thing, but I always feel like it's helpful to know, like you said, I don't know if I'm the only one that feels this way, but I feel like I'm the best dad. I say company, understand, but maybe something that you've experienced that you're rather in the middle of it now, or you come out of the hard that I had to learn. Could even be with your wife. Any jump out that question?
I would say like something that I struggled with internally was I don't like babies. And that's a very, very slap in the face comment. Like, I don't like babies. If somebody else brings it, it's just, no, I don't want to hold it. If I don't think it's cute, I don't don't want to go see the baby that had a baby. No, I don't want to go see it. I don't care. And maybe that's like an internal thing that I should care, but same with my own kids is just I struggle with the first 6 months of having a baby is just because I don't feel any connection with it because I'm not breastfeeding it. I'm not consciously just being like, all right, to show my wife that I love her, I will love this baby.
Yeah. No, you're not the only person I've heard say that. No, like, just it's hard.
It's hard to connect. And I think that's a connection. And I just don't connect with a baby because there's no emotions. There's a lot of emotion, sorry. But you think about it, a baby affects your wife. It affects her sleep, her attitude, her mood, her life, her well-being. Like, it affects everything. And almost maybe internally she takes her focus off of you and gives it to the baby. Maybe that's part of it. But with having our third and final kid coming out of it, I think that's maybe something that I'm thankfully coming out of is the baby phase, which is nice. But I think that's something that I definitely did struggle with our first and second. So having that third baby is just consciously, all right, I need to show my wife that I love this kid. I need to help her out more. I need to touch it, like without her being like, can you change the diaper? Yeah, I'll change the diaper. Yeah. She also works 24-hour shifts. So I'm at home with all 3 kids alone. So I have to take care of the baby. I have to get up at 3 a.m. when she's hungry and stuff. And just doing it, not complaining,
Yeah.
but trying to learn how to love it. So that's something that I have worked on, currently working on, coming out of. But if it's something like deep internal, like babies are tough for me.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Babies are tough.
We all have our weak spots, I think, in the child rearing phases.
Yeah. But the other kid, I love them. Play soccer, they can do it, and that's where I thrive as a dad.
Yeah.
So maybe that's helping me thrive as a dad.
Yeah.
I just add the baby along.
What's the fun, you mentioned soccer, like what are some fun things that you're enjoying as a dad right now? You mentioned the Creed.
Yeah, just being outside.
Yeah.
My son, I'm teaching him how to play basketball. So for Christmas, we got him little Tykes. He's 2.5 years old.
Okay.
A little Tykes basketball, like plastic thing that we have in, and he knows how to shoot now. Shoot the basketball. He'll shoot it from a couple feet away and make it, and we'll be like, yeah. And then we taught him, you know how when you score a touchdown, it's typically football people, but you shake your knees back and forth? He does that. So we'll play football, be like, touchdown. So he drops the football and he like tries to do the knee thing and it's like all like awkward and stuff. It's just like funny little things. And then our daughter, we're teaching her how to play the piano.
Oh, wow.
So she's super young, but like just like tinkering around and stuff. And we just play the piano. So
Cool.
it's just things that are like, you're just like seeing them.
I love the biggest shift. It sounds, and of course, like Lawn Dad is not free. It takes time to make those videos and go on and answer questions and collaborate with the people and the partnerships. There's time needed for that. But what it sounds like is the time, number one, you're thriving in it. You're charged up, I'm sure, when you're doing it. You enjoy it. And it enables the freedom to have those moments with your kid.
Yeah.
Probably wasn't even, you didn't have the kids when you were mortgage, 3 kids, but it's cool how you've been able to position yourself in a way that you can get there.
Yeah, I went for mortgages. We had 2 kids while I was still doing mortgages. I went from about 70 hours a week doing that till I'm probably doing a week maybe at best in the lawn dad space, and equally like income wise, pretty even.
Yeah.
So it's just like, what is that, a fourth of the time that I'm spending on it?
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's great, man. The huge kudos for Lawn Dad. We're wrapping up the show here. I haven't even. Yeah, we're way past 30. That's okay. Sorry. One of the questions I always feel like is helpful for other listeners is, how are we investing financially? Because we're talking about the investment in your energy, doing what you enjoy doing, right? And like toxicity, and that was not helping. But there's I think, future as you get older, more of that passive investing mindset that's going to keep coming more and more of like, how can I do something one time or a very limited amount of energy and time and see benefits over the years? Has that conversation come up a lot with you and your wife in light of like, how are we building up wealth for the future? Not that, all the stuff there.
Sure. Monetary, it's just, we've got a financial investor, so we're investing in the typical stocks and the kids funds and all that stuff. TBD on the real estate.
Yeah.
That's currently
It's
currently a negative investment right now. So
that one we'll have you back on next year.
Yeah.
We'll just get an update on how that will work.
two coming soon. So real estate's on the back burner, but we've got some commercial real estate in downtown Greenville. That I didn't really cover it all, but see where that goes. So there are other investments out there, small businesses, commercial real estate that are out there that kind of TBD, long-term play. We'll see if they pan out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. Spiderweb everywhere, just do what makes it.
Yeah. One of the things I've had a lot with my investors that I'm working with for my job is they may be super successful in their insurance agency or brokerage with mortgages or whatnot. There's a sense of, this is working really well for us. We're putting energy and time into it, but we're getting a lot out of it. And one of my goals through syndication, there will be a time where potentially you don't want to spend more time and energy into this thing. Yeah. And let this deal take some of the heavy lifting off your plate. Yeah. Where you can be with your kid more. Yeah. Do whatnot. Yeah. These are things. It's all, and hey, God wants us to be a good steward of what he's given us. And you have I've been very encouraged in this conversation to see you've always had, I think, a sense of not perfection in a negative way, but like, I want this to be done very well. A sense of excellence to your name. I mean, kidding, talk about cutting boards and you've done so many things that I've just seen like, this is really good.
Well, I was playing around there.
But you're using that through the Lawn Dad now, and people are getting value out of it. And it's just neat to see how you're using that innate sense of excellence to to be successful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all that.
Absolutely.
If the audience wanted to find out more of what TJ's doing, Lawn Dad, what would be a way you could direct them?
Yeah. Really quick, easy search on any social media platform, The Lawn Dad. It's either a Masters logo or my ugly face on there. But just look for somebody cutting their grass looking like a crazy person. That's me.
TJ, it sounds great. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.